Good morning. And welcome
Morning.
to, morning, okay. And welcome to the Greater Pascack Valley Chamber of Commerce's annual breakfast with the mayors. Well, hopefully some of you are having breakfast. Just not all of us here. I'm Robin Malley, president of the chamber. And I'd like to thank our mayors, chamber board, and audience for being here with us. We had planned on being back at the Iron Horse, but COVID got in the way, so we're virtual again. Just some basic housekeeping. This meeting is set up webinar style, so only the people that are panelists are on the screen. The audience will not be able to see themselves. I know that was a concern last year, and I was getting messages that I can't see myself. Am I really out there? You can't see yourself if you're an attendee and not a panelist. So just to introduce some of the people here, we have Ken Barron. Ken is our chamber treasurer. Thank you for waving. Christine Isaketes, our vice president. Danielle Aarons, our secretary. Skip Kelly and Mike Fitzsimmons, both board members and also past Citizen of the Years. And they have a number of other accolades that they have received in the past, so. Okay, and the mayors that are here today, Mayor Danielle DePaula of Emerson. We'll get a wave. Mayor Carlos Rendo of Woodcliff Lake. Mayor John Cramer of Old Tappan. Mayor Mike Casalli of Montvale. Mayor Diane DiDio of Oradell.
Morning, everybody.
And I apologize, Danielle of Emerson has not made it here yet. We're expecting Mayor Keith Mashagna of Park
Robin,
Ridge.
I'm sorry, Keith just texted me. He's trying to find the link.
Okay, and then Mayor Arroyo had a work emergency from Westwood. He will not be joining us. Mayor Peter Calamari of Washington Township is here. Mayor John Rucco of Hillsdale is here. And Mayor Glenn Jasonowski is not here of Rivervale. And we were hoping that he would send somebody. I don't see that anybody has jumped in at this point. So welcome and thank you for joining us. Just a little information on the chamber. The chamber is a 501c3 nonprofit organization comprised of businesses, professionals, and individuals working together to enhance our community to foster an environment that leads to increased growth in our businesses and neighborhoods. We host networking events, our Citizen of the Year dinner. Last year's recipients were Bill McLaughlin of the Jillian Fund and Scott Lawton, an Army veteran, retired 25-year Park Ridge police officer, who then became a nurse right at the start of COVID. This year, we're doing something different. We're planning a taste of the Pascack Valley in the early fall and hope to see all of you there. We expect this to be our major fundraising event for our high school scholarships, food banks, and the other local charities that we support. So we'll be reaching out to a lot of the restaurants and some of the community businesses to help support this effort. We will attend ribbon cuttings and help promote local chamber businesses and local restaurants because we feel that's where the need is, especially due to COVID. Mayors, if you would like us to post the names of your businesses like we did last year on our Facebook page, just send us the link that you had created. I think you did it last year or the year before. It's hard to remember how long this has been going on. We'll happily post those on Facebook again. Our membership fees are low, and we invite anyone, including the mayors, individuals, schools, businesses, to join us. And we look at the betterment of the valley as a whole. Our forum today will be similar to prior years. We've given the mayors a series of topics that should be of interest to our audience today. And I'm just going to stop for 1 second. Mayor Keith Mashagna has joined us as Mayor Diane DiDio. And Mayor Danielle DiPaolo has joined us, or is joining us at the bottom of our screen. Although mayor is spelled wrong, that's probably my fault at the bottom. I apologize. So we're going to keep going. The topics that they can discuss, will include the status of new developments in town, both residential and commercial, the increased traffic flow through the towns. Is there a solution? What is your town doing to keep seniors from having to move away so that they can age in place in town? And we're not just referring to moving into assisted living or nursing homes. Has outdoor dining been approved permanently? Is it here to stay? We know that you've been working on the airplanes flying overhead. Is there any update? Do you have any update on the walkway around the reservoir? And what are the key issues in your town? Is there something that we missed that you want to mention? The basic guidelines, you have 5 minutes per mayor. And I'm going to ask Mike Fitzsimmons, can you keep track of time? When there's 15 seconds left, just let the mayor know that they have 15 seconds left.
I will, and I think there's also an alarm maybe on my phone also, so that'll go off as well.
Okay, and mayors, any question, concern? Are you ready to go?
We're ready.
Robin, just one thing, Danielle. Danielle, all right. Are you having a hard time getting the video?
I am. I think I'm just gonna stay on like this, Skip.
Okay, 'cause down,
If I can
down,
figure it out, I'll get on.
down at the bottom left is a button you can push.
And Mayor Masagna, there's 3 dots in your photo box up at the top right hand, well, my right hand, and you could change your name. You could rename yourself. You could be who you are. And
Oh, okay. I don't think anybody. Sorry, Diane. I wish I was better looking.
Don't we all?
Actually, I can.
Like it better as Diane.
it's totally up to you. I just wanted to let you know how you could do that. You could rename the box.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so why don't we start at the top of my screen and start with Mayor Mike Casalli.
Thank you. Good morning. So in Montvale, we have 5 major projects that will bring about 950 new units to town, and they'll come online starting in April, half of which will be senior and assisted living, and the other half are 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms, rental and ownership units. We expect about 2.2 million a year in tax revenue, and we're hoping that some of the seniors stay in town and move into these apartments. On the business front, pre-COVID, all of our corporate buildings were full with about 25,000 employees that work in town every day. As of yesterday, as of this week, we have less than 8,000 employees back to work, and we have several vacant office buildings. We are pushing hard with our program Choose Montvale, focusing on medical and professional uses. And I'm hoping to announce a major medical name to move to town probably before April. And again, on the business front, last night, I asked the council and the professionals to look into rezoning certain areas in the borough to bring in light manufacturing, something like assembly of furniture, for example, or small size over-the-counter creams and shampoo manufacturers. One more thing happening in town. On a light note, this year I issued the Montvale Fitness Challenge, where we will shed 1,000 pounds together. So we have gym owners, trainers, helpers, yoga and Zumba, dancers, instructors. I'm hoping that we get to the community together and also to bring in these businesses, and hopefully they'll introduce their business and maybe they can pick up some few of the clients from town. And as far as the traffic, we do have the traffic study says everything will be fine, but we do have more traffic now, especially coming from New York. There are 5 major projects across the border in New York State in Chestnut Ridge, within 500 feet of our border, including a 1,000 student school that will bring about 60 buses every day. And likely they'll be traveling through the parkway through town. So we're trying to work with the Turnpike Authority for an on-ramp, off-ramp to the Turnpike, to the parkway. And the other thing you asked about was the noise control for the aircraft. So we do have 2 council members working on this and attending the meetings. And I've been asking all of the residents who complain to me, don't complain to me. You have to complain directly to the FAA site. There's a link that they can go on it and do that. We lost probably at least 50 businesses. We gained 55 businesses as of last month. Net, we are up, but we did lose a couple of small businesses. And I tell you, to stand in front of a full-grown man crying in tears that they lost their life saving because they lost their business to COVID, it's not easy. So we're trying to work with the state, with the county, to see what other programs we can tap into to help these small businesses. And that's pretty much all that's happening in town.
Sounds like a lot going on in town.
It's only January.
Right, and only January. Okay. Thank you. And sitting next to you is Mayor John Rucco. So let's move to Hillsdale.
Okay, thank you, Robin. With respect to new developments in town, we've had several small group home developments either going on or currently being reviewed by the planning board. Hillsdale has always been receptive to those. The big negotiating item for development is we're negotiating with Claremont March for redevelopment in our Patterson Street industrial area. And I, along with 2 representatives from the council, are the elected officials negotiating with those developers right now with the help of our outside attorneys and our planner. Just to refresh everyone's memory, what's allowable in the redevelopment plan is residential, which is townhomes, multifamily, senior housing, and continued care retirement communities, mixed use, and commercial and personal services. We have a 15% affordable ratio, or 20% if it's a purchase, on the first 28 units per acre. Of course, the negotiations are confidential, so I can't tell you where we are with respect to those, and what's going to come out of that yet. I do have a concern. I've expressed this several times about the possibility of high-density residential development that exceeds the maximum of the 28 units per acre. That was what we signed for the in our affordable housing agreement. But the plan allows for a bonus density that allows the developer to go up to 60 units per acre and up to 5 stories in exchange for community center or open space or sustainable design elements. So we have to be careful what we get and what we give up in terms of getting. And I generally align myself with the stance I think that all my fellow mayors in the Pascack Valley have taken, which is we're sort of united in terms of, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think we're united in terms of trying to make sure that high density residential development is controlled in our area. With respect to traffic, I don't know if there's any solution. It's likely to get worse in Hillsdale, especially if the development of the Patterson Street area continues. There's always that tension between the desire of residents to keep the small town feel of Hillsdale and the need to accommodate the political demands of fair share housing, as well as the market-driven demands of younger folks who want rental units. So that's always an issue that we try to keep in mind. With respect to seniors, my view on this is that they need, our seniors in Hillsdale like a place to meet. We don't have a community center right now. They always look for reliable transportation. We have our senior van, and I think Woodcliff Lake and I are awaiting the delivery of a new van, which we are going to be used jointly, but I don't think New Jersey Transit has ponied up yet. We've got approval, but we don't have the van yet. The other item is keep taxes low. That's always a big issue in terms of trying to have our seniors age in place. And the fourth item on that, it would be snow removal. We've started, or we're looking at starting a little service that would link residents who seniors who need snow removal with residents who are ideally young and will volunteer to help those seniors. So we're trying to get that off the ground. With respect to outdoor dining, I've asked the council committee to study changes that we made in the past 2 years that grant relief from outdoor dining restrictions, but I would like to see those made permanent. So they're looking at that. And then with respect to other issues, our Stony Brook pool has rebounded financially to a modest extent, but it's enough to give us hope that there are going to be future good years ahead of us. I have said several times we need to avoid a property tax increase again as much as possible. Last year we put through a 5.3% increase to try to build that community center and to returf Centennial Field. I was critical of the increase a year ago because of the absence of plans, but here we are a year later and we still don't have any council consensus on what to build or where to build it. Plus I don't feel, in my view, that we're adequately collecting residential input. What do the citizens want? The American Rescue Plan money, Hillsdale got 1.1 million, half of it last year, half of it this year. We intend to use that all on infrastructure, primarily sewers, but there'll be some other items that we're exploring. I have asked our borough attorney and our borough administrator to look at devising an ordinance to control the rollout of 5G cells. That's pushing for an ordinance that gives us some greater leverage in this area. And finally, as you know, we've had resignations for our borough administrator and our DPW superintendent. So we will face a challenge in terms of replacing them. And I've identified some candidates at an interim DA basis for our council to consider.
Thank you. A lot going on in Hillsdale as well. Okay, and moving on, Mayor Peter Calamari of Washington Township, or Township of Washington, to be correct.
Either one works. Thank you, Robin, and thank you to the chamber for putting this event together again during difficult COVID times. I certainly hope we can return to our usual breakfast again next year.
We do too.
Yes. I'd like to take a quick moment to mention that the township lost two former mayors last year, Mayor Charlie Devine and Mayor Janet Sopkowitz. In addition to serving the town in their elected positions, we miss their involvement in the community. Things are progressing well in the township, I'm happy to say. We have many projects underway or completed last year and look forward to accomplishing more this year. In conjunction with Westwood, we applied for and received approval from the New Jersey DOT for grant money to repave Lafayette Avenue that runs through both our towns. based on a letter we received from County Executive James Tedesco on October 14th. We expect the actual construction of the intersection project at Pascack Road and Washington Avenue to commence in the spring. We hope it brings the necessary relief to our township residents and other people traveling through our town. We also have been informed by the county that the entire length of Pascack Road within the township will be paved this year. Our police department is now using state mandated body worn cameras. Based on a shared service agreement with the county, we have ordered and received new radios that will interface with their new digital radio tower in Paramus. The police department and administration will continue to collaborate with our counterparts in Westwood and members of the school board regarding placement of special officers in the buildings in the school district. On March 17th of this year, our ambulance corps celebrates their 65th anniversary of service to the community. Our fire department took delivery of a new engine last year and will take delivery of a new ladder truck later this year. The progress on our new emergency services building continues. We look forward to supplying our ambulance corps and firefighter volunteers with a state-of-the-art building to continue their operations for many years to come. The 40-plus-year-old lights at Memorial Field that we could no longer get parts for, including even bulbs, were replaced with bright, energy-efficient LED lighting. We installed our own new base station to support the lightning detection system and continue to use the one supplied by the school system as a backup. Our obsolete DPW building was demolished and the soil under it that was contaminated years ago has been remediated. We have been collaborating with an architect on plans for a new DPW building and we'll be reviewing them with the council shortly. When the owners of the swim club in town accepted a different offer than the one the town made, I told them if anything happened where the deal fell through to reach out to me. The deal did fall through and they did reach out to me. We came to an agreement to purchase the property and look forward to using that over 6-acre tract of town for additional recreation purposes. We continue to work with other municipalities to reduce noise over the residential areas of planes approaching Teterboro Airport, as well as addressing the stormwater issues that are plaguing our entire region. To address the questions submitted by the chamber, we have many new developments in town. Unfortunately, too many of them are due to COA and fair share housing agreements. The American Dream development that was mostly approved in the early 2000s via a COA settlement now has final approval. That will bring a combination of 66 single-family and townhouse units into town. Also approved is the Franklin Court development that will bring an additional 44 rental units into town. Additionally, where the tennis club on Pascack Road used to be, we have an assisted living complex being built that will contain 100 beds in 85 units. These units will collectively bring additional traffic onto already crowded roadways throughout the township. The intersection project will bring some relief, and we will work with the county to see if any additional changes can be made at the other county roads within the borders of the township. Regarding giving our seniors options to remain in town, this is an issue that is near and dear to me. I grew up in town. I know many of our seniors as they are the parents to my childhood friends. We hope if needed, they will take advantage of the new rental units that will be constructed, and if needed, they can move into the new assisted living complex that is currently under construction. None of the restaurants in town have expressed a desire to go to permanent outdoor dining. If and when they would like to, we would be happy to work with them to make it work to help their businesses and allow patrons the opportunity to enjoy an outdoor dining experience. Thank you all.
Thank you. Another town with a lot going on. I guess this whole Pascack Valley doesn't sit still. Next, Mayor John Cramer. And you're on mute. You need to unmute. Are you able to unmute? Okay, now you're unmuted. Nope. There you are.
Okay. Thank you very much, Robin.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm just by way of reference, I'm from the Northern Valley, but it's a pleasure to be a part of the Pascack Valley Mayors Association. It's a very worthwhile group, and I certainly appreciate being included in this. Here in Old Tappan, our construction department has been extremely busy over these past 2 years. We've not only added personnel to the department, we've expanded the office space for them to accommodate the many applications that come in on our for not only residential additions, renovations, but for knockdowns and replacement for new homes. With regard to new additions that come along, we have the Enclave. It's at present a 220 unit mixed use development, which is under construction on a 20-acre site on Old Tappan Road adjacent to the Bi-State Shopping Center. The project includes condos with an affordable housing component, which are now under construction. There will be included a 20,000 square foot business feature that will front on Old Tappan Road. And finally, the third aspect of the property will be comprised of high-end rental units. Now, a 3-acre parcel opposite our high school named Central Square has been cleared and ready for the construction of a 26-unit condominium, including 6 affordables. Also located on Central Avenue is a company by the name of Artis, which has a fully approved site for an 84-bed memory care facility. Construction has not yet begun as of this date. Planning board is scheduled to begin hearings relative to the submission of plans for an assisted living facility. The approximately 80-bed building is proposed for a 5-acre parcel located on Old Tappan Road next to the Syrian Orthodox Church. So you can see our construction also grows, and along with it, an increase in traffic. It seems that the way things are developing here in Northern Bergen County, there's nothing but development going on, which adds to all of our traffic woes. As a result of some of these developments going in, we've seen an increase in flooding, not quite as severe as what some of the Pascack Valley towns have had. Outdoor dining is permitted. Many of you know that Charlie Brown's that we had in Old Tappan for many years closed several years ago. I'm happy to report that the building has been taken over by another company and the name of the restaurant is now Aurora. It's a Mediterranean Greek style restaurant, and we do permit outdoor dining there. As far as seniors are concerned, we have many programs for the seniors. Aside from the freeze, there's not too many things that are available from our end as far as affordability, but we offer as many programs as we possibly can for them, which have all been affected by the COVID situation. One other highlight that I would like to mention is that after more than 50 years of operation, our municipally owned golf course will be managed by a private company this coming season. Scheduled tee times will be available, and we will now operate 7 days a week as a semi-public course. Memberships will still be available for preferred tee times, and we look forward to a reopening in the spring. You can check our website for further information on the golf course at oldtapan.net. Pretty much rounds out my report, and I thank you very much.
You're muted, Robin.
I realized that. Sorry, I was coughing and muted myself. We still like to consider you part of the greater Pascack Valley. Okay, let's see. Who are you sitting next to? You're sitting next to Mayor Diane DiDio. So let's move on.
Okay, good morning, everybody. And like Mayor Cramer, I'm the southern end of the Pascack Valley, so I too am grateful to be a part of this group. I think we do a lot of good things together. We collaborate and share ideas. And John Rucco, I just want you to know that we already have a shoveling program in place for our seniors. So please feel free to reach out to my borough clerk, deputy clerk, and they'll put you in touch with the person who runs that. We match up high school students with our seniors to provide shoveling of driveways and sidewalks and things like that. So it's been it's been in effect for a couple of years. So that's a great idea and a great help to the senior citizens in our communities. As far as new developments go, we do have 2 new restaurants coming to town. We're so excited about both of them. Aura, which is in the Central Business District, which is under construction, where the old coffee shop used to be. There is a butcher there that will stay as part of the development. So we're glad to have our longstanding butcher remain in that location in conjunction with the new restaurant. And our former Charlie Brown's at the southern end of Kindercamack Road is going to be opening as a Fire and Oak. So we will have the sister to the restaurant up in, is that Woodcliff Lake or Montvale? I forget which one.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to having that as well. You know, Oradell has been starving literally and figuratively for restaurants. So we're very excited about having these 2 new additions to our town. There is also a pending United Way supported housing development that will hopefully be started this year, which helps us to satisfy some of our core obligations. It's housing for people with special needs. It's a wonderful project in conjunction with United Way, so we look forward to that starting. We have an application pending for a apartment building with an underground garage before our zoning board, which is currently pending there. And I, of course, cannot comment on that because under our ordinances, if there's a decision rendered by the board on a variance that can be appealed to the mayor and council, it may come to us for consideration, much like we had with our Walgreens back in the day, where the Columbia Bank now stands at the intersection of Ridgewood and Oradell Avenue. We also have pending the rehabilitation of the building at the southwest corner of Kindercamack Road and Oradell Avenue, which is the former Panico business. There is slated an urgent care center to go in on the ground floor once that renovation is completed. And we also have under construction right now on Kindercamack Road at the former AAA site, the 20-unit apartment building for people 62 and older, which will help address some of the challenge in keeping our senior citizens in town. We have many seniors who don't want the burden and obligation of maintaining a home. This gives them an opportunity to stay close to their families, rent an apartment right in the town where they raise their families, and not have the maintenance obligations of home ownership. So we look forward to all of those developments. With regard to increasing traffic, planes, drones, electric scooters, I don't know. You know, we're all challenged by that. And as everybody has commented, there's a lot of development going on. I always say we have this main corridor in Kindercamack Road, which goes from New Jersey up to the New York State border. That's going to see increased traffic. I don't know what the answer is. I don't think anybody does. More and more homes with multiple cars. That was never contemplated when Kindercamack Road was developed years and years and years ago. So it's a challenge, and I don't know how we're going to overcome that. With respect to keeping seniors from moving away, we're grateful to have a development coming to town like the one I described earlier. I suspect that we will have more applications for senior housing, not assisted living, but apartments or townhomes that would give our senior citizens the opportunity to stay in town without having to bear the burden of maintaining their homes. We're also improving our outreach and programming with seniors. We talked about the program we have with our students and the seniors for shoveling, but we also look to pair different groups in town like Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts with our seniors to provide times for games and interaction and conversation at our senior center. And as part of that movement, we've got a grant application pending to both expand and renovate the kitchen at our senior center so we can provide seniors with more regular meals at our senior center and allow for some more social interaction. We do have exercise classes. We do have history lectures once a week. And we hope to reopen that and get that going. It's now being conducted via Zoom with the uptick due to Omicron and COVID, but my COVID task force meets every week, and hopefully the numbers of positives will continue to trend downward. We had, right after the holidays, we had increases that were pretty significant 2 weeks in a row. And those are only of the reported cases. And when I say that, I mean the people who have gone for PCR tests at labs that report to the Department of Health in Bergen County. My husband and I both contracted COVID right after Christmas. We tested at home. Those positives don't get reported because there's no way for the county to verify them. So I can imagine there are plenty of people out there who did the home test, quarantined for 10 days, tested negative, but it's not getting included in those numbers. However, those numbers that spiked at 136 new cases a week for 2 weeks in a row, which is a lot for a small town like Oradell, dropped to a little over 50 last week. I'm waiting for tonight's report to see where we're at. Our COVID task force will meet tomorrow and we can take action with respect to whether we reopen our borough facilities or not. With regard to the seniors, I talked about increasing the opportunities for them to meet at the senior center and the housing that could be dedicated to seniors within the community. With regard to outdoor dining, I believe it's here to stay. The challenge that a town like Oradell has, which, you know, its main business district is Kindermack Road, is finding the space to allow for it. One of the solutions we came up with during COVID was to close down a little cut street, which may have negatively impacted one of our businesses because people didn't know that there was parking behind this, but we're looking for places where we can continue it and allow it to happen. People enjoy it, especially when the weather's nicer. So I think that's a thing that is here to stay.
Mayor, that's 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes? Okay, can I just add one quick
Go ahead.
more?
One more thing.
Well, okay, stormwater management and FAA. There are meetings coming up with the DEP for the Bergen County League of Municipalities, Pascack Valley mayors. And on February 8th at 6 p.m., I circulated an invite through Terry McGuire to everybody on this call. There's going to be a panel discussion of the issues with Teterboro and the flight patterns and FAA and the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. I'm sorry I exceeded my time, but thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, Mayor Mashagna, Park Ridge. Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
Yep. Well, you muted me, I think, Robin. So
I
it
did.
wasn't my fault. I have enough technological problems. I just want to thank the chamber for hosting this breakfast. I'm not a big fan of Zoom meetings. I can't wait to have the breakfast in person again, hopefully next year. So thank you for hosting. I didn't prepare any remarks, but I just figured I'd go through the questions. Question number one was the status of our new development. Our newest development is the one on Kindermack. 240 units were built. They opened a few months back and they're completely 100% occupied right now, which was a surprise for both the developer and the borough. The good news is it's a mixed group that's there. Many of the individuals that moved in there are seniors that were looking to scale down and move in, and then as well as new people that are commuting into the city. The location of that project is right along the railroad tracks. The retail portion of it, we're happy to say the B&M Market, very well-known market in our community, is staying in town. They're moving into the new facility. They've just completed the construction. It's a gorgeous area. They will have dining as well as takeout. And we also have, I'm told, a high-end restaurant moving to the north end. I believe it's going to be called Wayland Fair. I've seen the plans. It looks gorgeous. So we're looking forward to that. As you know, Park Ridge has reinvented itself over the past few years. I think I put my foot in my mouth a couple of years ago here at this breakfast and said we were starting to look like Flint, Michigan, because we had a lot of businesses that were folding. We are more of an industrial little town, and with this new development, we're seeing that change. We're becoming a lot like our neighbors with a nice walkable downtown. So the traffic portion is always going to be an issue. As some people say, that's a problem created by success. So people want to live where we're at, and that causes traffic. So it's a good problem, I guess, but it's a problem nonetheless. I have always been a big proponent of having some form of a shuttle bus or a trolley, and we talk about it at the Pascack Valley Mayors Association. It's just that we have to get it's a lot of moving parts. We have to get the county involved. I would love to see some type of a bus that ran from the northern end of Montvale all the way down Kinderkamak, Broadway, whatever, all the way down to Diane, down in Oradell, and then back up and maybe even go into the northern part of the valley. I think that would be helpful for traffic, and it'll also be very convenient because there's certain things that our towns bring that others don't have. We want to go see a movie, we go to Westwood. We want to try a different type of restaurant, we may go to Montvale or Oradell now that they have some restaurants there. So I think that's something that, if not this group of mayors, will oversee that should happen sometime down the road. I hope to live long enough to see that. And as far as what we're doing to keep seniors in town, I do think that new development helps in some regards, but as Mayor Rocco said, taxes is the big thing that we could do to help our seniors. And Park Ridge is trying very much to bring businesses into town, and that'll help our tax base. So we are trying to do that. Oh, sorry, we have a delivery, and my dog was asleep next to me. Geeking. It's only Amazon. Okay, so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring businesses. We also have a plus 55. A plus 55 as part of our United Way development. It's a big dog. I'm sorry. That would help. We're going to have some plus 55 apartments there. The status of outdoor dining. I love outdoor dining. It was controversial a couple of years ago. We have some fine dining. It's Deacon right here. My Bernie doodle. We have some fine dining in Park Ridge, and we also have some small restaurants down in the downtown area. I love it. We're suited for it. We have a couple of facilities where we have to be careful because it's near residential, but we do have a downtown, so the downtown doesn't affect the general population as far as noise goes. So I would be a proponent of keeping that as long as we can. Highlights or issues. We like I said, I don't like to be a downer. We have to. We all work together at the Pascack Valley Mayors Association. I'm very proud to be part of the organization. We all know that in a couple of years we're going to deal with another round of affordable housing, and I think we've learned a lot over the past round. And I hope we can work together on making sure that we meet our obligation, but also stick together and trying to come up with a solution that we could all live with. In good news, we have a community center that's progressing. It's going to be located near the new development along the railroad tracks. We have drawings. We're just going over some of the details. As everybody knows, my timing is always terrible. So we started this a few years ago. Costs have doubled. So we're trying to deal with the increase of the cost, but we anticipate that we may have a shovel in the ground in the spring, hopefully. We also have because of COVID, we held back on the paving. So we're going to have a very robust paving program this year. Kinderkamak, I hope, will be paved this year. as well as many other streets. We have a list. I believe we put that up online. We also had a damaged new turf field that is also being replaced over the next couple of months. It should be ready for the spring season.
Mayor, that's
And
5
I'm
minutes.
sorry, am I up?
Yeah, one more.
Okay, no, that's it. And we're looking. The Pascack Valley Mayors Association is together on this flooding issue. We're trying to set up a meeting with the state to discuss instead of doing it one by one as a group. I think it's great. I'm proud to be part of the Pascack Valley Mayors Association. Thank you.
Thank you. So Mayor, this is sort of a challenge to you and everybody else that uses Amazon. I know Amazon is local. It's in Mawa now. And I'm not going to ask you for an answer, but as the local Chamber of Commerce, we ask you to buy local. And I don't want an answer, but just curious whether what Amazon just delivered.
That was my neighbor. I wouldn't know. It wasn't delivered to my house, but I will admit my wife sometimes buys coffee pods from Amazon.
So we just challenge everybody to, if you can buy it from a local store, please do, and don't order it from Amazon. I won't say any more. Mayor Danielle DePaula, you're up next.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, mayors. Good morning, Robin. I just want to thank the Chamber for the opportunity to join everyone this morning and talk about Emerson a little bit. I will piggyback on that last sentiment. I constantly have a mantra, which is please shop our local businesses. Emerson is going through a little bit of a renaissance in terms of businesses moving around town and reopening in different locations, which we're very excited about. We've had, I think there are at least 5 or 6 businesses that have opened in Emerson. We do not have the commercial district that most towns are able to have. Emerson has always been a pass-through town. And we do have our traffic bottleneck. I know that several years ago, as part of the governing body, we tried to address that. It has addressed some needs, but the Kinderkamek Road project of several years ago has created some more difficulties for travelers in town. And we continue to seek remedies to that, especially the 6-minute light at Linwood Avenue in Kinderkamek. The governing body is aware of it, and we are constantly reaching out to transit and to the county to see what we can do to revisit that and fix that issue for our residents as well as any commuters that are coming through Emerson. As far as outdoor dining, Emerson has had the Emerson Hotel for 100 years, more than 100 years probably, and still has their great food. They have their own outdoor dining, so that really hasn't been an issue in Emerson as to whether or not we would permit the outdoor dining. And many of our local restaurants, not restaurants, but local food establishments have a very vibrant takeout, especially short rounds. I know they do dinners that are able to be picked up. And I think during COVID, a lot of people in Emerson are still doing takeout, and they're always looking for something interesting to eat. And I see a lot of Facebook chatter. They also are getting their food from a lot of your different restaurants in the Pascack Valley. So I think Emerson is helping to keep the takeout business vibrant throughout the Pascack Valley. We do have commercial space available in Emerson, and there are active liquor licenses that are available privately. So we do hope that we will have some restaurants moving in with a liquor license that will afford a more vibrant restaurant persona in Emerson. As far as building, we continue to wait to see what is going on with the Armenian home. We hear that it will still continue to be a medical facility, but we don't have any definitive plans from them on that yet. Subaru has applied to the land use board for an expansion of their building. That is before the before the mayor and council first. And then it will go before the land use board. I can't comment on that too much, except for that they are looking to expand. 419 continues their development in our downtown area, and we look forward to working together with the developers on this ongoing project, and we look forward to seeing it come to fruition. We're moving forward with our new emergency services building addition and renovation of our current historic borough hall. And we are working very hard to get this a shovel in the ground for this. This building will stand good into the 21st century. The project will allow us to preserve our historic building while at the same time creating much needed space for our police, ambulance, and municipal court. The American Legion property, which is not Emerson property, it is owned by the American Legion Post. Unfortunately, one of our oldest buildings in our community will be knocked down, and they will be building a new facility with Bergen County Housing Authority, which will house, I believe, 4 new apartments for disabled veterans, as well as provide the meeting room to our post that they've been waiting several years for. So we are sad that the building will be raised. We've gone through every avenue to try to save it, but it just doesn't seem that anything can be done. And the post needs their home. Our veterans deserve their home, and that will be moving forward this year. We saw businesses open, Pumped Up Sups on Emerson Plaza East, Trinity Rehab, Fritzy's Bakery, the Crafty Kitchen is coming back to Emerson, General Photography on Lincoln Boulevard, our Eyebrow Threading Bar relocated across the street onto Emerson Plaza West. There will be an urgent care coming to the Stop and Shop Plaza in the coming year. And there's also a speech therapy that opened up. There are a lot of businesses that open in Emerson that don't have storefronts, but we do have a very vibrant business community. And I also went to a celebration at Hand and Stone that is celebrated their 10th anniversary in the ShopRite Shopping Center. I think I hear an alarm. Is that me?
Yeah.
Am I done? Well,
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
very much for letting me share some information. And I wish everyone a very healthy and prosperous 2022 in their communities.
Thank you. And just a reminder, if you want us to post on our Facebook page, all your businesses, all your restaurants, we're happy to do that. Just send us the link for that. Okay,
Yes.
and on to my mayor, Mayor Carlos Rendo of Woodcliff Lake. You're next and last. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, everyone. Pleasure to be here again. I wish I was at the Iron Horse eating that great breakfast, but I'm having coffee at home. But hopefully next year we'll get back to that. A lot of things going on in Woodcliff Lake development. We have 16 units coming in of affordable housing in north of Broadway, north of Highview. Like everything during COVID, construction has taken a snag because of the increase in construction costs and supply chain issues. But I'm happy to report that the next mayor and council meeting will have something on the agenda that will be moving forward with the 16 units north of Broadway. We also have an application pending for Old Pascack Road, which will bring in 15 townhomes. And part of the affordable housing settlement is that the municipality has to contribute $800,000 to the development on Broadway for the 16 units. So $600,000 from the development of Old Pascack Road will be contributed to that development for the affordable housing project on Broadway. The municipality is on the hook for the balance of $200,000, but we have $400,000 in our affordable housing fund to donate toward that project. So we'll be moving on that hopefully this year, and I'm confident that the shovel will be in the ground hopefully by the beginning of next year. We have a project pending at 216 Broadway, which is the old carpet store. The applicant there is looking to bring 6 apartment units. That is before our zoning board right now. So I'll refrain on commenting on that. And we have on 188 Broadway, 53 units in terms of an application being filed, but we are challenging that application, 188 Broadway. So that's in current litigation. So I'll refrain from speaking on that. On a positive note, Woodcliff Lake this year was able to attract a major corporation to the municipality. Party City, New Jersey has selected Woodcliff Lake to move its corporate headquarters. That'll bring approximately 750 jobs to the area. And Woodcliff Lake was a groundbreaking municipality in that it participated in the first ever New Jersey Emerge program, which is a tax incentive program from the state of New Jersey to entice corporations to establish themselves in the state of New Jersey. We were able to beat New York for Party City. I created a Party City committee to highlight and promote our municipality to the corporation. And we were able to win the bid, even though New York had promised larger incentives, tax incentives to the corporation. I believe it was about $15 million. New Jersey gave them about $10 million. Now, the benefit of having all municipalities participate in this program, New Jersey Merge, is that these corporations, in exchange for the tax incentives that they receive, are required to invest in the communities that they're moving to. So Party City will be investing in the development of our Galaxy Gardens project, and hopefully our Light Decker house, some infrastructure projects, and that lessens the tax burden on all residents. So it's a home run for the community. We have new residents moving in, buying homes in our area and in the Pascack Valley. So it's a big boon for the entire valley, having Party City move its corporate headquarters to Woodcliff Lake, and I'm happy about that. Another aspect of development, which is, good development, is open space development, right? I think I saw a gentleman discuss about climate and resiliency and issues like that. So we're taking an old gas station and an old landscape company and converting it into a park in the center of our town. The council retained a landscape architect, and the landscape architect presented its proposal to start the project. We will be dealing with that at the next council meeting. So we hope to have the park completed hopefully by the fall of this year. So we're moving along on the Galaxy Gardens project. Reservoir walkways. Look, one of the frustrating things about public office is how slow everything moves, right? So when you come from a corporate sector or everything, you get things done quickly. But for example, Galaxy Gardens started before I was even on the council, and we're still dealing with that. And unfortunately, the walkways are in the same course. But I am hopeful that that'll get done. I'm working together with Park Ridge and Hillsdale to get that done and benefit the entire Pascack Valley. Connecting that walkway, we're looking to open a restaurant at the old Department of Public Works barn on Broadway, which faces our reservoir. So if anybody in the chamber knows of a restaurant or an entity that's looking to invest in one, this is a great and beautiful venue right on our reservoir. We are in the process of improving our causeway. As you know, during the springtime, the beautiful trees bloom, and we're going to give it a little, we're going to refurbish that causeway to connect to the restaurant and our walkways. That's a positive issue coming up. And that goes with outdoor dining. Look, we only have 2 restaurants in Woodcliff Lake, Bear Burger and Soul Restaurant, which is on Broadway. I'm sorry, on Kinderkamak. And we're looking to attract that 3rd restaurant on our reservoir. As the seniors, well, we have a 55 and over community at the Four Seasons. We have a lot of assisted living, but we also have a project coming in on Old Pascack Road, as I stated, for 15 townhomes. So maybe some of the seniors could downsize and move into the townhome development on Old Pascack Road. Other highlights, the air traffic. Woodcliff Lake is taking a leadership role in the air traffic issue. We've been working. I created a committee led by Warren Feldman and Councilwoman Jacqueline Dadaletta to address these issues, and they've been attending the TANAC meetings in Peterborough. And the air traffic was diverted to an alternate route over the Route 17, which could alleviate a lot of the traffic overheads. But the problem is that the pilots make the final decisions on the descent into the airport, and the pilots have not been following the alternate route. So we've been working with the FAA, with the Port Authority in New York and New Jersey, with our local municipalities, and the federal government to see if we could have those airlines again take the Route 17 corridor rather than over our skies.
Mayor, that's 5 minutes.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
You can finish your sentence, Carlos. Go ahead.
And no, that's it. You know, we're looking to encourage the FAA to take the Route 17 flight down. That's it. And then I'll ask any questions from the audience.
No, we're not doing audience questions today.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good.
Okay.
Robin, if I may, Mayor Rendo, I circulated that invite and I encourage all of the mayors on this call to join that call next Tuesday evening at 6 p.m. Or if you cannot, to please send a representative with the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey and the FAA so that we can voice our concern.
Thank you.
Excellent. If there's any discussion between the mayors, feel free to unmute yourselves.
Robin, I saw a comment from one of the attendees about what we're doing about climate resiliency strategy.
Yes.
There was a meeting on Monday, which we got notice of on Friday. I was not able to attend because of conflict with business with the DEP. However, I reached out to the DEP, and as I alluded to in my earlier comments, the DEP will be presenting next Tuesday morning at 7:30 via Zoom to the Bergen County League of Municipality Mayors on the climate resiliency strategy. They will be discussing flooding, climate change, increasing storms, and how we in the Pascack Valley, as well as other municipalities, can partner to leverage available resources and funding for regional evaluation and remediation so that we don't get as severely impacted as we have during these storms. So I encourage everybody to attend that meeting as well. It will be via Zoom on February 8th at 7:30 a.m. And if you cannot attend, please have one of your council people, borough administrator, somebody else be there in your place. So thank you for that. And we can evaluate what that plan will do and how we can benefit from it.
Excellent. If there is nothing else between the mayors and our chamber members, yes, John.
Robin, I know one of the attendees here asked about, are we aware of a Trenton effort to consolidate communities? I'm not aware of it. I don't know whether my fellow mayors are, but in general, my feeling is one of the reasons we have such a high property taxes, school taxes in this area in Bergen County is because we have too many municipalities. And I'd certainly be willing to explore more in depth the consolidation and merger of towns. I think the home rule concept is hampering us in terms of keeping our property taxes to a dull roar.
Diane, you have.
Yeah, I put my hand up, but to that comment, John, I think it has to really be studied because, look, I grew up in Nassau County where there is a lot of consolidation and the taxes there are very high. It didn't work, you know, so I don't know what the answer is, but you got to look at it and really study what the economic impact would be to make sure it makes sense.
Right. I
think it's, Robin, I just wanted to add to the mayors. I think that, you know, I know we continue to consolidate services. And I think the consolidation of services is more important than the joining of different towns and everyone losing their identity. I know Emerson loves their identity, the family town. But the consolidation of services, that continuation, I think, would benefit all of us in the Pascack Valley.
Shared services, yes.
Yeah, shared services is certainly an interim step, but I think the direction that the status that we cling to in home rule is unsustainable in the long run. Unfortunately, I think only a couple of towns have actually, I think the Princeton area had a merger in which I believe it benefited both communities. but it needs to be studied, as Mayor DiDio has indicated. I think that there's more that can be squeezed out of this that would help the taxpayers.
And I think they were talking not only towns, but schools, too many
Yeah.
superintendents, too many principals.
There's too many superintendents, too many chiefs of police, too many fire chiefs. It's just unsustainable. And as someone who's worked on policy issues for, at the Fed for so many years, this deserves a lot of study. But the problem is it's been studied to death over the past. I think that one of the people said Governor Whitman had launched a study.
Started it, right?
Started it. And again, here we are, how many years after the Whitman administration, and we're still wrestling with it. And nobody wants to touch that third rail issue. But I joked with Mayor Arroyo that I would merge and become Westdale. But
And today's the perfect day to do it. He's not here.
he's not here. I'll have the Hillsdale police go and seize Westwood this afternoon.
Robin, if I could throw my 2 cents worth in on that.
Absolutely.
One of the things that I had tried to convince mayors to look at when I was in office was, the most expensive parts of running a town are the police department, DPW, and even though the towns don't have control over it, the schools. Westwood, after all these years, is still the only town in the Pascack Valley that has a K through 12 regional school district. Now, you throw all the money that goes into the administration of your grammar school operation. It's a lot of money. And when it came to the police departments, I was always a proponent of looking at it like a 10-year plan, not a 2, 3, 4-year plan, a 10-year plan. So when you have a chief that goes ahead and retires, the 10 towns decide, on a chief that's going to be overseeing 2 towns, and so on. Over that 10-year period, you can have almost total consolidation of police departments, and you will save a lot of money. And DPWs, you probably can't do it for the whole valley, but you can do a couple towns here and a couple towns there. Anyway, that was my suggestion.
Robin, one of the
Yeah, jump in.
questions from Roger Gross, one of the participants, is concerning the challenges that we're having coming up for the affordable housing requirements in 2025. That's an important issue that we're all struggling with, the 2025 requirements and what we will do to address those. And 2025 is around the corner. There's pressures of development, and fair share housing is moving forward to create more affordable housing. But we should have a regional strategy on how to address these types of pressures, because we cannot sustain continued developments of high density development. And we have avenues to challenge and also work with fair share housing. And I'm not saying I'm against affordable housing. Look, I'm a beneficiary of affordable housing. I grew up in a train type of an apartment in Union City, the most densely populated city in the nation, in rent control. So I welcome affordable housing, but the problem is the density that comes with the affordable housing requirements, the market rate housing that comes with it. So look, I'm all for developing affordable housing in our areas, but let's keep it to affordable housing. Let's see if the developers are willing to provide that. And let's say to fair share housing, look, we're going to build affordable housing. That's what you're about. That's the policy of the state of New Jersey. We will build affordable housing, but that does not mean market rate housing with affordable housing. That should be part of the strategy in addressing this issue, because otherwise you're going to see more developments of thousands and thousands of units coming in, under the pressures of development. Look at Park Ridge. They challenged that development up there. But unfortunately, with the developer's remedy, they have the hammer, and the municipalities have their backs up against the wall in terms of combating this. So I like to see a regional strategy with all the mayors to address this coming up in 2025.
And I would add, Carlos, the conversations that you, and Mayor Arroyo have had. On one hand, you have the pressures to increase development for the reasons you just highlighted. On the other hand, we've got the flooding issue. The more development you typically have in your town, the worse it becomes to deal with the flooding issue because of the impermeability of the soil, the water. So it's like we're being squeezed as smaller towns, which is why the PVMA, Pascack PVMA Association, is trying to get more of a regional approach to this.
And I'm going to ask a question on the
Robin.
affordable, yeah.
Just quickly on 2025, we discussed this, we keep discussing it. And just to build on Mayor Michagnia's point, we address this separately. It won't be as serious and as efficient if we come together. And I don't know how we come together, but I was going to suggest to the mayors at our association meeting next month is we each have our own COA meeting, our own committee on COA. It might make sense if we create our own regional kind of a council on affordable housing, whether it's only this association or include the Northern Valley and the Southern Valley and maybe more towns, and we would have some serious resources behind it at the council level, at the mayor level, and 2025, like you said, the fourth round, we're expecting to be hammered again, and we're going to try and fight, but fighting alone, it's going to be difficult. If we have this committee, maybe we can come up with different solutions and just come up with a strategy like Miranda said. So we should discuss this at the next association meeting, Mayor, if that's okay with you guys.
Mike, I could also raise that at the BCLOM. We've got a much broader
That'd be great.
representation from the county. I'll
That'd be
raise that
awesome.
issue.
Yeah, we can have our own council on affordable housing.
When a tenant gets accepted into affordable housing, why is it that they get accepted once and can stay there 30 years? They never requalify. So if somebody makes the number, let's say it's 47,000 for that income, a moderate income person, and now they're making 100,000, they can keep that apartment for the next 30 years. And in Park Ridge, they haven't been granted a rent increase for the last 9 years. But they can continue staying there. They can have somebody move in with them. There is no change. So that affordable housing unit is basically, it just stays and nobody can move into that because that person is living there. It's almost rent free. That's it just doesn't seem right. If that apartment could be re-rented because that person is making so much more money, we would be able to move it, move somebody else in. Does that make sense?
Yes, but some municipalities, I know in Hudson County, some municipalities have the requirement of submitting yearly tax returns and pay stubs to ensure that they still meet the qualification levels. And they also enforce other people from moving into the apartment. Like, for example, another relative's moving in and they're making more money for that, that unit is the income for that unit now is $100,000 because that's what they're making, but it should be for someone that is making $40,000. So you got to have some type of controls with affordable housing to ensure that those units are going to people who actually need it.
Okay, I just know that, and I'm not picking on Park Ridge, but I know, with Park Ridge, for an example, once somebody is in a rental apartment in Park Ridge, they're there for 30 years.
Well, Robin, that's not a local issue. That's from the state.
That's from the state. Yes.
Excuse me?
That is from the state. I've been
Yeah,
told.
so,
But,
Yeah, I mean, I'll
It's a
give you my 2
legislative
cents.
change that we need.
It seems
Go
unfair.
ahead.
In
exactly.
my opinion, the whole system is broken. The whole system with affordable housing is broken. The purpose of it was an honorable idea. It's just they've taken something from the Mount Laurel decision and try to take a square peg and put it in a round hole in our towns. It just doesn't fit, and the whole system is broken. And until they revisit it, I think it should be out of the courts. All this did was cost our local residents a lot of money to fight for something that should have been handled. They should reinstate COA, and they should do it better, because it's a broken system. It doesn't work. Park Ridge took our turn in the dunk tank. It was a terrible couple of years, and the state needs to get involved with this and change it, because it's broken.
Right, so the town, and I'm picking on Park Ridge, it could be Montvale, it could be any other town up around here, is forced to build more apartments, but you're housing people that can afford to move out of
Okay,
them.
right.
Right. It just doesn't make sense. And I wish somebody could go to the state, and I've spoken to the people that I deal with, and they're like, that's the way it is.
Well, here's a question, Robin. People ask me all the time. You have somebody that works their whole life and they want to stay in town, and now they're on a modest income because they're retired. Why shouldn't they be able to get preference in their local town to get an affordable unit so they can, finish out the remaining years? And there's no avenue to do that, to help somebody that's locally, that's a local resident. It's a shame, because it should be.
Right.
But Keith, you have to say that wasn't one of the concerns or check boxes of the people who have brought us the affordable housing solutions. Right? Their goals are a little different. It wasn't so much, right? It wasn't so much to provide affordable housing for your residents, for your residents as they age in Park Ridge, but it was to provide affordable housing on a much broader scale to people in other neighborhoods elsewhere in the state that come in and to move into Park Ridge. That was one of their goals. But I'm not saying I agree with it, but that was one of their goals.
Well, it's become one of their goals. The original Mount Laurel decision wasn't about that. It was just, it was like Mount Laurel, they were going to build, I don't even know what it was, 4-acre sites with mansions on it. And they said, no, you can't do that. And that's become this this mess where, I'm in favor of affordable housing. I may need it at some point, as I always say. But why? It's supposed to be about income, not about anything else. So
correct.
I just find it very frustrating. I lived it, and it's very difficult. And I hope by 2025 we're better prepared as a group, because we learned a lot.
Here, I agree with you. It has to be taken back from the courts. The Council on Affordable Housing actually does still exist. It's up to the governor to make appointees to that council and remove it from the jurisdiction of the courts.
One of the arguments I've been making, and this gentleman, Doug Phillips, made this comment on the chat, and he's absolutely correct. And he says that one would assume this on this day, with climate change and environmental protection is the main conversation, that we would be leading up, that would be the leading argument against overdevelopment and excess lower income housing project. And he's absolutely correct. The state policy is now under the Murphy administration is to increase environmental awareness. And my argument is that it conflicts with the other policy of creating affordable housing and density development. So, in the future, maybe in the courts, I don't know what the proper venue is, that's an argument to make. I mean, there are developments that are being built in flood zones, and because of the regulations on affordable housing and the developers remedy lawsuits, municipalities are being forced to develop these properties in flood zones. And then afterwards, they feel the impacts of climate change, and these developers are nowhere to be seen. They're gone because they're protected under the developers remedy lawsuit. So we should be using a policy of the state against another policy of the state to combat this overdevelopment and density requirements. So that's a good question, Mr. Phillips.
All right, well, we promised that we would not go past 9:30. And I'm going to keep to that promise. So if we have nothing else at this point, we're going to leave this to the mayors to try and fight. I know you've been fighting a good fight on this, so I thank you. Thank everybody for attending. If anyone wants information on Chamber's future events, our email is gpvcoc, Greater Pascack Valley Chamber of Commerce @gmail.com. Please reach out to us if anyone wants information on our Taste of Pascack Valley, knows of restaurants that might want to get involved. Please reach out to Mike Fitzsimmons. He is the owner of the Westwood Gallery on the corner of Kinderkamak and Westwood Avenue in.
No, Broadway.
I'm sorry, Broadway
Mhm.
and Westwood Avenue. Can't miss it. Beautiful gallery. Go stop in and see Mike if you want to be involved, or a restaurant. Please stop and see Mike because he is our coordinator on that. And I thank everybody for being here today.
Good to see all of you, mayors.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Be well.
Well, yeah.
Thank you. Good health, everyone.